Hi, and thank you for visiting my channel. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow. Now let's get started. The recent episode of WWE Raw concluded with several intriguing developments, including a major announcement from General Manager Adam Pearce. During the show, Pearce added Damian Priest to the World Heavyweight Championship match between Finn Balor and Gunther for Saturday night's main event. This move indeed raised the stakes for the upcoming world title bout. However, what caught fans' attention was a subtle backstage moment involving Pearce and Tiffany Stratton. As Seth Rollins walked out for his segment, eagle-eyed viewers spotted Pearce conversing with Ms. Money in the Bank. This interaction is particularly intriguing given WWE's recent transfer window announcement, which allows superstars to switch brands. Currently, Tiffany Stratton is a SmackDown star, but her discussion with Pearce suggests he might be plotting to steal Tiffy time to Raw. With her increasing popularity in the WWE universe, moving Stratton to the Red brand could strengthen the women's division, especially before Raw's Netflix debut. Also, if Stratton still has her MITB briefcase during the potential brand switch, she could cash in on Liv Morgan or whoever holds the Women's World Championship at the time. It will be interesting to see how this potential power move unfolds and whether Adam Pearce can outmaneuver Nick Aldis to secure one of SmackDown's rising stars. Nick Aldis could also be plotting to bring a massive Raw star to WWE SmackDown. It seems like Adam Pearce isn't the only general manager making strategic moves. On the latest episode of SmackDown, Nick Aldis was also spotted in a backstage conversation with Dominic Mysterio. This was similar to what we have seen between Pearce and Tiffany Stratton on Raw. This subtle interaction suggests that the national treasure is equally determined to keep the blue brand stacked, especially with Raw's highly anticipated Netflix debut on the horizon. Meanwhile, undisputed WWE champion Cody Rhodes also appeared on Raw this week. However, a brand switch for the American Nightmare seems unlikely. With major stars like CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and even Roman Reigns rumored to join Raw's roster, keeping Rhodes on SmackDown could help balance the star power across both brands. Overall, the transfer window storyline opens endless possibilities for WWE superstars to switch brands soon. As these behind-the-scenes conversations unfold, the next few weeks will surely bring more twists and surprises in the Stamford-based promotion. This is especially due to the developing power struggle between the GMs. It was another electric Monday Night Raw, and WWE fans had been eagerly awaiting some sign of the growing tensions between general managers Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis. Ever since Aldis assumed control of SmackDown, whispers of animosity between the two had grown louder. With Pearce's position seemingly under threat and Aldis pulling in big names and creating captivating storylines, the Raw GM needed a win, one big enough to swing momentum back in his favor. By the second hour of the show, fans began noticing subtle hints of a brewing storm. One of Raw's fan-favorite superstars, Sami Zayn, had been a focal point of speculation. Despite being a fixture on the Red brand since the dissolution of the Bloodline's control over him, Zayn's recent social media activity, and a surprise backstage segment involving Aldis the previous Friday on SmackDown, sparked rumors of a potential brand switch. But Pearce wasn't about to let his prized talent walk without a fight. A hidden clue on Raw opened with Adam Pearce addressing the crowd in an unusually direct and fired-up manner. "There's been a lot of talk, a lot of whispers, about where certain allegiances lie," Pearce said, pacing the ring. "Let me make one thing perfectly clear. This is Monday Night Raw. The flagship. The heart of this company. And I'll be damned if I let anyone or anything steal that spotlight." The crowd roared in approval, sensing an undertone of real frustration. Pearce, however, stopped short of mentioning Aldis by name. Instead, he cryptically added, "There are those who think the grass is greener on the other side. But trust me when I say this, Raw isn't just a brand. It's home. And sometimes, we fight for what's ours." This subtle yet impassioned statement sent social media into a frenzy. Was Pearce referring to Sami Zayn? Could Aldis be orchestrating a raid on Raw's roster to bolster SmackDown? The tension only grew when Sami himself appeared in a backstage interview later that night, where he was asked point-blank about his future on Raw. "I've got a lot of love for Raw," Sami said, a conflicted expression crossing his face. "But, sometimes, you have to go where you feel you can make the biggest impact." Nick Aldis makes a move. Meanwhile, over on SmackDown the previous week, Nick Aldis had been seen having a private meeting with Sami Zayn in a backstage corridor. Although the details of the conversation were never revealed, Aldis smirked as Zayn walked away, left little to the imagination. Aldis, a master manipulator and shrewd businessman, had already made waves by recruiting rising stars and solidifying SmackDown as WWE's must-see brand. Bringing Sami Zayn to the blue brand would only further that mission. However, Adam Pearce wasn't about to lose without a fight. As Raw progressed, a shocking development occurred during the night's main event, a tag team match featuring Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens taking on the Judgment Day's Finn Balor and Damian Priest. As the match neared its climax, the Titantron suddenly flashed to a split-screen image of Nick Aldis sitting in a luxury box, watching the match unfold. The crowd gasped, and commentary scrambled to explain Aldis' presence. "What is Nick Aldis doing here on Raw?" Corey Graves exclaimed. "This is hostile territory." Aldis remained composed, offering only a sly nod as the match continued. Sami Zayn, distracted by Aldis' sudden appearance, was rolled up by Finn Balor, leading to a shocking defeat for the fan-favorite duo. Pearce's countermove. Backstage chaos erupted following the match. Adam Pearce stormed through the hallways, demanding answers from WWE officials as to why Aldis had been allowed into the building. "This is my show," Pearce yelled, visibly seething. "If Aldis wants to poach my talent, he's going to have to go through me." Later in the night, Pearce revealed his plan in an impromptu interview with Byron Saxton. "If Aldis thinks he can waltz in here and steal one of my guys, he's got another thing coming. I've got a little something up my sleeve, a reminder of why Raw is the place to be." The something up his sleeve turned out to be the reappearance of a WWE legend, AJ Styles. The Phenomenal One, who had been sidelined for months with injuries, returned to Raw in a surprise segment, declaring his loyalty to Pearce and the Red brand. "Nick Aldis might be charming, but Pearce? He's the guy who gave me my shot when I first came to WWE," Styles said, electrifying the crowd. Sami's dilemma. The following week, SmackDown featured a heated exchange between Aldis and Pearce. Pearce had stormed the blue brand to confront Aldis directly, interrupting a backstage promo. "You think you can come onto my show and scout my talent?" Pearce snarled. "Let me tell you something, Nick, Raw doesn't play second fiddle to anybody. Not to you, and certainly not to SmackDown." Aldis, unbothered, smirked. "It's not poaching if the talent comes willingly, Adam. Perhaps you should focus on giving them a reason to stay instead of pointing fingers." The confrontation left fans buzzing about Sami's future. That same night, Sami Zayn delivered an emotional promo on Raw, reflecting on his loyalty to the brand. "Raw gave me the platform to prove who I am. But now, I'm at a crossroads. Do I stay where I'm comfortable, or do I take a risk and see what SmackDown has to offer?" A shocking betrayal. The storyline reached its boiling point at WWE's upcoming premium live event, Clash of the Brands, where Raw and SmackDown superstars competed in brand supremacy matches. In the main event, a 5-on-5 elimination tag match, Sami Zayn shocked the world by turning on his Raw teammates to side with SmackDown. The betrayal was devastating for Adam Pearce, who stood at ringside, visibly crushed as Sami raised a SmackDown flag alongside Nick Aldis. Fans were left stunned, questioning whether Sami's decision was motivated by Aldis' promises or frustration with Pearce's leadership. The fallout. The aftermath of Sami's defection reverberated across WWE programming. Raw opened the following week with Pearce addressing the crowd. "Sami Zayn made his choice," Pearce said solemnly. "But don't think for one second that Raw will falter. We're not just about one man. We're about a roster full of superstars who bleed red for this brand. Meanwhile, Aldis celebrated his victory on SmackDown, boasting about how he had secured one of WWE's most beloved stars. "This isn't just about Sami Zayn," Aldis said. "This is about proving that SmackDown is the brand of opportunity. And we're just getting started." Fans were divided, with some praising Aldis' savvy tactics and others lamenting Pearce's loss. The rivalry between the two GMs had officially become one of WWE's hottest storylines, setting the stage for months of compelling television. As the dust settled, one thing was clear: Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis weren't just battling for brand supremacy, they were battling for the heart of WWE itself. And with neither man willing to back down, the war was far from over. Nick Aldis reacts to huge WWE announcement. Hence, he's trying to replace multiple SmackDown stars with Raw ones. Nick Aldis has just spoken up after a big WWE announcement on SmackDown, and it seems that he's already getting ready to check which blue brand stars might be replaced with Raw ones. The general manager now has choices to make. The SmackDown GM spoke about the transfer window, and it appears that he has already started to make decisions. Which stars he's referring to remains to be seen, but if anyone wants to make switches, now would be the time to approach him. Nick Aldis said that Santa Claus was not the only Nick with a list that he was checking. It appeared to say that, like Santa Claus, he was checking who was naughty or nice. With the transfer window active now, he will have a chance to send some stars from SmackDown to Raw, and at the same time, bring in stars from the Red brand. Given reports that SmackDown and Raw will both be moving to 3 hours going forward from January after the Red brand shift to Netflix, it appears that the Blue brand will need more stars than the show has. The current roster is set up for 2 hours, and an extra hour may need more stars than are currently present on the show. What will Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce do for the transfer window on Raw and SmackDown so far? The transfer window has only been announced, and it's yet to be seen how the deals are announced by the general managers, Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce, or if it takes the form of a superstar shakeup where stars just show up on their new brand without any prior announcements. The coming weeks will show what the two general managers are deciding, and it appears they will need to negotiate with the stars as well. The final rosters after the transfer window will be telling, as it appears there's no huge draft coming soon. The WWE Universe was abuzz after a monumental announcement shook the wrestling world. As SmackDown's general manager, Nick Aldis, addressed the WWE roster backstage, fans witnessed the cunning strategist reveal his controversial plans to reshape the Blue brand. This announcement came just hours after WWE declared that a special brand showcase draft would take place at the end of the year, allowing GMs of Raw and SmackDown to trade talent without the usual limitations. Aldis, always one to keep his composure, stood tall in the center of the SmackDown locker room. The atmosphere was tense as superstars like LA Knight, Shotzi, and Bobby Lashley looked on, trying to decipher the true intentions behind their GM's cryptic smirk. The huge announcement earlier in the evening, WWE's official social media platforms dropped a bombshell. The brand showcase draft wasn't just about refreshing rosters, it was about creating brand supremacy. Unlike previous drafts, this one allowed each brand to poach up to 5 stars from the other roster, with the only condition being a suitable trade agreed upon by both GMs. As soon as the announcement aired, speculation ran rampant about how Nick Aldis and his Raw counterpart, Adam Pearce, would navigate this opportunity. But Aldis wasted no time in staking his claim on the WWE landscape. "I'm not here to maintain the status quo," Aldis began, addressing the SmackDown roster in a closed-door meeting that WWE cameras later broadcast exclusively on the WWE Network. "I'm here to win the ratings war, to make SmackDown the pinnacle of professional wrestling. And to do that, some hard decisions need to be made. If that means some of you need to pack your bags and make room for fresh blood, so be it." His words sent shockwaves through the locker room, with several superstars exchanging nervous glances. Aldis wasn't merely reacting to the announcement, he was making a power play, targeting Raw's top talent. In an exclusive backstage interview later that night, Aldis dropped some not-so-subtle hints about his plans. Raw has some phenomenal talent, he admitted, leaning casually against his desk, his trademark smirk in full display. I've been watching. There are a few superstars over there who I think would thrive under my leadership. The problem is, they're being wasted. I can fix that. When pressed for specifics, Aldis teased, let's just say I have my eye on a certain visionary, a bruising powerhouse, and a couple of women who are criminally underrated. Fans immediately began speculating about who Aldis might be referring to. Could the visionary be Seth Rollins? The bruising powerhouse sounded like Bronson Reed, and the criminally underrated women hinted at stars like Zoe Stark or Candice LeRae. SmackDown stars on the chopping block, but Aldis's plans didn't stop there. During his speech, he made it clear that SmackDown's current roster wasn't safe from his scrutiny. Let's face it, Aldis said, pacing the room. Some of you are dead weight. You've been coasting, relying on the prestige of SmackDown to mask your mediocrity. That ends now. The camera panned to several superstars whose expressions ranged from defiant to uneasy. Austin Theory appeared particularly unsettled, while Shotzi seemed ready to prove her worth. SmackDown isn't a charity, Aldis continued. It's a proving ground. If you're not pulling your weight, there are a dozen Raw superstars who'd kill for your spot. Reactions from the locker room, the reactions backstage were mixed. LA Knight, ever the outspoken fan favorite, didn't shy away from addressing Aldis's comments. Let me talk to you, Knight exclaimed in a WWE Digital exclusive interview. Nick Aldis can play his little chess games all he wants, but he ain't getting rid of me. SmackDown is my show, and there ain't a trade in the world that'll change that. Yeah. On the other hand, superstars like Cameron Grimes seemed more cautious. I've worked too hard to get here, Grimes said. If Aldis thinks he can replace me, he's got another thing coming. To the moon. Meanwhile, Bobby Lashley, who has been a dominant force on SmackDown, appeared unfazed. I don't care who Aldis brings in, Lashley stated. I'm staying here, and I'm staying on top. Adam Pearce fires back. The announcement also lit a fire under Raw GM Adam Pearce, who was quick to respond on social media. Nick Aldis talks a big game, Pearce tweeted. Let's see how he handles the competition when I outmaneuver him in this draft. Raw is the flagship show for a reason. Pearce later appeared on Raw Talk, where he elaborated on his strategy. If Aldis thinks he can cherry-pick Raw's best talent without giving up something substantial, he's got another thing coming, Pearce warned. The fans weigh in. WWE fans were quick to share their thoughts online. While some praised Aldis's bold approach, others criticized his apparent disregard for SmackDown's current roster. Nick Aldis is playing 4D chess while everyone else is playing checkers, one fan tweeted. This is exactly the kind of leadership SmackDown needs. Another fan had a different take. Aldis is out here disrespecting the SmackDown roster like they haven't been carrying WWE for years. Hope he gets what's coming to him. The bigger picture: as the WWE Universe prepares for the Brand Showcase draft, it's clear that Nick Aldis's tenure as SmackDown GM is going to be anything but predictable. His willingness to shake things up, even at the expense of alienating his own roster, sets the stage for a high-stakes showdown with Adam Pearce. With the potential for blockbuster trades and shocking departures, fans are left wondering who will emerge as the real winner of this draft. Will Aldis succeed in transforming SmackDown into the undisputed A show, or will his risky strategy backfire? One thing is certain: the WWE landscape will never be the same. And for Nick Aldis, that's precisely the point. Adam Pearce made some proclamations this week on WWE Raw, including banning the Judgment Day from a title match. This will help keep things fair as the match is set to take place soon. Finn Balor is set for a busy week. At the end of this week, he will be facing Gunther in a match for the World Heavyweight Championship at Saturday night's main event. However, that's not all he's going to be doing. Ivar has now reacted to Judgment Day being banned from the tag title match. As per Adam Pearce, immediately after Saturday night's main event on WWE Raw, the star will have to defend the World Tag Team Championship against War Raiders with JD McDonough. However, things won't be easy for the champions, as they will not have any help from the faction. Pearce banned the rest of the Judgment Day from the match, meaning Baylor and McDonough would be on their own. Next week, my hometown Boston. World Tag Titles on the line. The rest of Judgment Day banned from ringside. Yes, please, he wrote. It remains to be seen what happens after this, and there's no assurance that they will be champions by the end of next week's Raw. The Judgment Day faces a major setback. It was a tense night on WWE Raw as the Red Brand geared up for one of the most anticipated main events of the year. The stakes were sky high. Seth Rollins was set to defend his World Heavyweight Championship against Finn Balor. However, the excitement came crashing down early in the night when Adam Pearce, WWE's authority figure, made a shocking announcement that sent shockwaves through the WWE universe. Due to repeated interference in recent matches and a clear disregard for the rules, the Judgment Day is banned from ringside during tonight's World Heavyweight Championship match, Pearce declared in a backstage segment. The announcement was met with a mix of cheers from the live audience and fury from the Judgment Day's members. Finn Balor, visibly frustrated, stormed into Pearce's office, demanding an explanation. "You can't do this," Balor shouted, slamming his fist on Pearce's desk. "This is bigger than me. This is the Judgment Day's legacy you're messing with." Pearce remained calm, his tone firm. "I've given you and your crew plenty of chances, Finn. Week after week, it's the same story. Dominic distracting referees, Damian Priest threatening cash-ins with the Money in the Bank briefcase, Rhea Ripley intimidating opponents. Enough is enough." Despite Balor's protests, Pearce's decision stood, leaving the leader of the Judgment Day to fend for himself in his title quest. The fallout backstage as the announcement spread, chaos erupted within the Judgment Day. Backstage, Rhea Ripley was seen pacing furiously, Damian Priest clenched his fists in frustration, and Dominic Mysterio, never one to shy away from controversy, was vocal about his displeasure. "This is a joke," Dominic said in an interview with Byron Saxton. "How are we supposed to dominate WWE if they keep holding us back? This is blatant favoritism towards Seth Rollins." Rhea, still pacing, interjected. "Pearce just painted a target on his back. The Judgment Day doesn't get banned, we take over." Despite their united front, cracks in the group's confidence began to show. Priest, who still held the Money in the Bank briefcase, appeared conflicted. His shot at Rollins could come at any moment, but with the ban in place, he couldn't be ringside to influence the match. The match, Rollins vs. Balor. When the main event arrived, the atmosphere was electric. Seth Rollins, ever the crowd favorite, entered to deafening cheers, his charisma lighting up the arena. Finn Balor, on the other hand, walked to the ring alone, his usual confidence tinged with visible frustration. The absence of the Judgment Day changed the match dynamic dramatically. Without distractions, both Rollins and Balor delivered a wrestling clinic. The crowd was treated to a back-and-forth battle that showcased their in-ring prowess. Rollins' high-flying moves and Balor's technical strikes kept fans on the edge of their seats. However, as the match progressed, the cracks in Balor's psyche became evident. Without his stablemates, he seemed vulnerable, second-guessing his moves and hesitating at critical moments. Rollins capitalized on this, delivering a thunderous curb stomp that sealed the victory and retained his title. The aftermath, the Judgment Day's reaction as the final bell rang, Rollins celebrated in the ring, his title held high. Backstage, the tension among the Judgment Day was palpable. Balor stormed into the locker room, throwing a chair across the room in frustration. "This is on you, Damian," he yelled, pointing at Priest. "You should have cashed in tonight. You could have turned this around for us." Priest didn't take the accusation lightly. Standing up, he shot back, "You think I can just cash in whenever I want? Pearce banned me from ringside, remember? Or were you too busy losing to notice?" Rhea Ripley, the de facto glue of the group, stepped between the two. "Enough," she commanded, her voice cutting through the tension. "We don't turn on each other. We regroup, we strategize, and we come back stronger." Dominic, ever the opportunist, chimed in. She's right. This is just a minor setback. Pearce won't be able to keep us down for long. Despite her words, it was clear that Rhea was just as frustrated as the rest of the group. Later that night, she took to social media to vent her anger. Rhea Ripley's response: Rhea posted a fiery message on Twitter that quickly went viral, and GT, you can't keep greatness down. Tonight was a travesty, but mark my words, the Judgment Day will rise again. Pearce, you've just made the biggest mistake of your career. #WeAreJudgmentDay fans rallied behind the tweet, with many expressing their disappointment in Pearce's decision. However, others praised his move, arguing that it leveled the playing field and allowed Rollins and Baylor to shine without outside interference. Pearce responds: Adam Pearce, never one to back down from controversy, addressed the situation in a post-show interview. My job is to ensure fairness and uphold the integrity of WWE. The Judgment Day has proven time and time again that they'll stop at nothing to tip the scales in their favor. Tonight, I made a decision that I felt was best for the match and the fans. When asked about Rhea Ripley's tweet, Pearce smiled knowingly. Rhea is one of the most talented superstars we have, and I respect her passion. But passion doesn't exempt anyone from following the rules. What's next for the Judgment Day? The events of the night left the WWE Universe buzzing with questions. Would the Judgment Day seek revenge on Adam Pearce? Could this tension within the group lead to their eventual downfall? And how would Damian Priest's Money in the Bank briefcase factor into their plans moving forward? One thing was certain, the Judgment Day wasn't going to let this setback define them. Backstage rumors hinted at a potential confrontation between the group and Pearce on the next episode of Raw. Rhea Ripley, the most vocal member of the group, reportedly pitched a segment where the Judgment Day would make an example out of Pearce, showing the WWE Universe what happens when you cross their path. Meanwhile, Seth Rollins, fresh off his victory, seemed ready for whatever challenges lay ahead. In a post-match interview, he acknowledged the difficulty of facing Baylor without the Judgment Day at ringside. Finn's one of the best, Rollins admitted. But tonight proved that he doesn't need the Judgment Day to succeed, he just needs to believe in himself. Conclusion: the Judgment Day's ban from the World Heavyweight Championship match was a defining moment on WWE Raw. While it allowed for a clean and thrilling main event, it also exposed vulnerabilities within the dominant faction. As the fallout continues, all eyes are on what's next for the Judgment Day. Will they regroup and come back stronger, or will this be the beginning of their unraveling? One thing is certain, their story is far from over. The Street Profits removed from title match after shocking injuries on WWE SmackDown. Nick Aldis says they need medical treatment and AMP. Names replacements. The Street Profits have not had the best luck in recent months, and now Nick Aldis has had to take them out of a title match. The Stars have been trying to establish themselves as the top names for the WWE Tag Team title. They qualified by defeating multiple other stars to become the #1 contenders for the WWE Tag Team Championship. Unfortunately, they got attacked backstage on WWE SmackDown, and now replacements have been named. The Street Profits may have earned their opportunity to face the Motor City Machine Guns for the WWE Tag Team Championship. However, they were not the ones who ended up getting the chance. Thanks to the attack, Nick Aldis had to remove them from the match. He said that they were badly hurt and needed medical treatment as a result. DIY stepped up to the task. The general manager was then confronted by Johnny Gargano and MCMG, who came to an agreement that in the absence of the Street Profits, it would be DIY who got a chance to get the championship. The Stars got their chance, but it remains uncertain if it was Tommaso Ciampa or Johnny Gargano who was behind the attack. While they got the advantage, it remains to be seen who put the Street Profits out of action. Nick Aldis will likely be looking into the attack. The WWE Universe was buzzing with excitement as SmackDown prepared to host a blockbuster main event featuring the Street Profits, Angelo Dawkins, and Montez Ford, competing for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships. Fans had been eagerly awaiting their clash against champions Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, with rumors swirling that the Street Profits might finally reclaim gold. However, the night took an unexpected and dramatic turn, leaving the WWE Universe in shock. A sudden turn of events as SmackDown kicked off. Nick Aldis, the recently appointed general manager, was seen backstage having a heated discussion with medical personnel. The camera then cut to footage of the Street Profits sprawled on the locker room floor, clutching their ribs and writhing in pain. The broadcast team speculated about a potential backstage attack, but details were scarce. "These men were ready to tear the house down tonight," Aldis later said, addressing the live crowd in the arena. "Unfortunately, due to unforeseen circumstances, they are not medically cleared to compete. This is a devastating blow to all of us." Medical evaluation. Aldis explained that WWE's medical staff insisted on immediate evaluation. "We don't take injuries lightly here in WWE," he emphasized. "Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford are two of the most electrifying athletes in our business, but their health comes first." The WWE Universe erupted in a mix of boos and concern as the announcement sunk in. A match that promised to be one of the highlights of the evening was suddenly off the card. Fans took to social media, speculating about who could have orchestrated the attack. Theories ranged from the Judgment Day to a new faction rumored to debut. Aldis makes a decision back in the ring. Aldis addressed the situation head-on. "The show must go on," he said firmly, "and the undisputed tag team championships will still be defended tonight. After consulting with WWE officials, I have chosen two deserving replacements." The announcement was met with an air of anticipation as Aldis revealed that the challengers would be none other than the Brawling Brutes, Sheamus and Ridge Holland. The decision was met with cheers from the audience, as Sheamus and Holland had been on a roll in recent weeks, delivering hard-hitting performances against top-tier teams. "This is a team that's earned their shot," Aldis said. "While we hope for a speedy recovery for the Street Profits, tonight, it's the Brawling Brutes' time to shine." The match. As the main event approached, tension filled the arena. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn looked visibly frustrated during their pre-match interview, expressing concern for the Street Profits while acknowledging the unpredictability of their new opponents. The match itself was a brutal, back-and-forth affair. Sheamus and Ridge Holland brought their signature physicality, keeping Owens and Zayn on their toes. Highlights included a devastating brogue kick from Sheamus to Sami Zayn, nearly securing the pinfall, and a thunderous pop-up powerbomb from Kevin Owens to Ridge Holland that brought the crowd to their feet. Despite their best efforts, the Brawling Brutes fell short. Owens and Zayn retained their titles after a hell of a kick from Zayn to Holland sealed the victory. However, the champion's celebration was short-lived, as chaos erupted post-match. A shocking revelation as Owens and Zayn celebrated, the arena lights dimmed, and eerie music played. A video package aired, revealing footage from earlier in the night that showed the Judgment Day lurking near the area where the Street Profits were found injured. The footage was inconclusive, but raised serious questions about whether Finn Balor and his crew were behind the attack. Nick Aldis quickly reappeared on the ramp, looking furious. "I assure you, we will get to the bottom of this," he promised. "If the Judgment Day had anything to do with this, there will be severe consequences." Fallout. The WWE Universe was left with more questions than answers. Was the Judgment Day truly responsible for sidelining the Street Profits? Or was this the work of an unknown faction aiming to make their mark? Meanwhile, Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford were reportedly taken to a local medical facility for further evaluation. WWE social media accounts later shared an update, stating that the duo was in stable condition but would require additional tests before returning to action. Backstage, Sheamus spoke to reporters about the unexpected opportunity. "We gave it our all out there," he said. "The Brutes are always ready to step up, and tonight was no different. But we're not done. Owens and Zayn better keep looking over their shoulders." Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, while relieved to retain their titles, were visibly agitated about the circumstances surrounding the match. "We want answers," Zayn said. "The Street Profits deserved their shot tonight, and we want to know who took that away from them. What's next?" Nick Aldis has promised an internal investigation to uncover the truth behind the attack. In the meantime, he hinted at repercussions for those responsible. WWE is a place for competition, not cowardice, Aldis stated in a post-show interview. The Street Profits' absence also opens up questions about the future of the tag team division. With the Judgment Day seemingly involved and the Brawling Brutes hungry for another opportunity, the title picture has never been more chaotic. Conclusion: the events of SmackDown have left the WWE Universe reeling. What was meant to be a celebratory night for tag team wrestling turned into a mystery that could have far-reaching implications. Fans are now eagerly awaiting next week's episode, hoping for clarity on who was behind the shocking injuries and what consequences will follow. As for Nick Aldis, his first major crisis as SmackDown GM has shown that he is willing to make tough decisions while prioritizing the health and safety of his roster. "We will deliver justice," he vowed, leaving fans with a promise of answers to come. The Street Profits may be sidelined for now, but their resilience and determination suggest that this is far from the end of their story. When they return, there's no doubt they'll be looking for revenge, and perhaps even another shot at championship gold. WWE Raw General Manager Adam Pearce shares inspiring message. WWE Raw General Manager Adam Pearce has been an integral part of the wrestling promotion's programming for several years. He posted a social media update to share an inspiring message today. On the latest edition of Friday Night SmackDown, WWE announced it would implement a transfer window to move wrestlers from one brand to another ahead of Raw's Netflix premiere on January 6th. With the show already stacked with the global juggernaut's top names, Pearce would have his work cut out to strengthen the brand's roster. Adam Pearce took to his Instagram account today to post a video of himself, where he had an inspiring message for everyone. The 46-year-old advised that one must keep working hard without ever being afraid to be proud of their achievements. Don't ever be afraid to be proud of what you've done, what you're doing, or what you're gonna do. Because anybody that would disrespect or disintegrate you for your efforts is doing so because they simply cannot do it themselves. They're either incapable or they are ***king jealous. Either way, it's a fuel. Use it. Put your head down, grind, and do the work. Look in the mirror, right into the eyes of the person looking back at you, and be proud of what you accomplish, he said. Adam Pearce addresses WWE fans. Recent speculation: the general managers of both Raw and SmackDown have been kept busy dealing with intense rivalries, brawls during the build-ups, and several backstage attacks. Amid all the chaos and stress, Adam Pearce can often be seen yelling, "I need a drink." In a recent social media update, Pearce addressed fans, asking him what he really wants to drink. The Raw GM ended the speculation and claimed water to be his choice of beverage. "I just want to take the time here to end a lot of speculation out there. You've probably seen this on the internet, and if you haven't, you will. There are many situations on Raw where things potentially go awry, or become chaotic, or very aggressive, where you may hear me utter the phrase, 'I need a drink.' And people are always asking, what is it that I'm drinking? And it is time to answer that question. The beverage of choice is water. 2 hydrogens, 1 oxygen. Your body is approximately 60% made up of this, and the planet we all inhabit, 70%. H2O. Water. I need a drink, and so do all of you," he said before having a sip. Adam Pearce recently teased stealing top stars from SmackDown and NXT. It will be interesting to see the roster's shakeup due to the transfer window. It was a typical Monday night on WWE Raw, with the crowd in full swing as the anticipation of the night's matches reached its peak. However, something extraordinary was about to unfold, and it didn't involve a championship match or a shocking betrayal. It was Adam Pearce, the Raw general manager, stepping into the ring to share an inspiring message that resonated with fans and wrestlers alike. As the lights dimmed and Pearce's entrance music played, the crowd greeted him with a mix of cheers and curiosity. Dressed in a sharp suit with his signature calm demeanor, Pearce held a microphone in one hand and a determined expression on his face. He paused in the middle of the ring, soaking in the energy of the crowd. "Ladies and gentlemen," he began, his voice steady but tinged with emotion. Tonight, I don't come out here to make matches or settle disputes. I come out here to talk about something that goes beyond what happens in this ring. The story behind the message the WWE Universe leaned in, eager to hear what their general manager had to say. Pearce started by sharing a personal story that many weren't familiar with. Years ago, before I became the general manager of Raw, before I even dreamed of working for WWE, I was just a kid chasing a dream. I wrestled in gyms, community centers, and anywhere they'd let me set up a ring. I've faced setbacks, injuries, and moments where I thought, maybe this isn't for me. But every time I got knocked down, I found a way to get back up. Pearce's words struck a chord with the audience. He painted a vivid picture of his journey, from struggling in the independent wrestling scene to becoming a pivotal figure in WWE's management. But you know what kept me going? He continued, his voice rising with conviction. It wasn't just the dream of making it big. It was the belief that no matter how hard things got, no matter how many times I failed, I had the power to keep pushing forward. A message of resilience. Pearce then turned his focus to the audience and the WWE roster backstage. I know many of you out there are facing your own battles, he said, pointing to the fans in the stands and the cameras broadcasting to millions at home. Whether it's in your career, your personal life, or something you don't talk about with anyone, I want you to remember this: resilience is your superpower. You have the ability to rise above whatever is holding you down. The crowd erupted in cheers, inspired by his heartfelt words. Pearce's authenticity was evident, and it was clear he wasn't just addressing the WWE Universe. He was also speaking to the superstars backstage who often face immense pressure and challenges in their careers. Addressing the roster, Pearce took a moment to acknowledge the talent he worked with daily. To every superstar in the locker room, you inspire me. You go out there night after night, putting your bodies on the line, entertaining millions of people. But I know it's not always easy. I've seen the sacrifices you make, the injuries you fight through, and the doubts you face. But let me tell you this, you're stronger than you know. The camera panned backstage, showing various superstars watching the speech on monitors. Veterans like Seth Rollins nodded in agreement, while younger talents like Zoe Stark and Bronson Reed looked visibly moved by Pearce's words. A challenge to the WWE Universe. Pearce wasn't finished yet. He issued a challenge, not for a match, but for life. I want every single one of you to leave here tonight and face whatever challenge is in your way. Take that first step toward your goal, no matter how small it may seem. And if you fall, get back up. Because falling isn't failing. Staying down is. The crowd erupted into a thunderous ovation, chanting Pearce's name. This wasn't the usual reaction for a general manager, but Pearce had managed to connect with everyone in the arena on a deeply personal level. A superstar's perspective. As Pearce wrapped up his speech, one superstar couldn't resist joining him in the ring. Kevin Owens, known for his no-nonsense attitude, marched down the ramp with a microphone in hand. You know, Adam, Owens said, pacing around the ring, I've been in this business for a long time, and I've heard a lot of speeches. But what you just said, that hit home. I've had my ups and downs, heck, everyone knows that. But you're right. It's not about how many times you fall, it's about getting back up. Owens extended his hand, and Pearce shook it firmly. The crowd roared as the two shared a moment of mutual respect. Wrapping up, Pearce closed out the segment with a powerful final thought. Remember, resilience isn't just for the big moments, it's for the everyday battles. So go out there, fight your fight, and never forget how strong you are. Because if I can make it here, so can you. The general manager left the ring to a standing ovation, the crowd chanting, "Thank you, Pearce," as his music played. Backstage, superstars gathered around him, applauding and expressing their gratitude for his inspiring words. The Impact social media exploded with reactions to Pearce's speech. Fans shared their own stories of resilience, tagging WWE and Pearce in heartfelt posts. Wrestlers from other promotions even chimed in, praising Pearce for his vulnerability and leadership. In the weeks that followed, WWE embraced Pearce's message, launching a campaign called #RiseWithResilience to encourage fans to share their struggles and victories. The campaign became a movement, proving that wrestling wasn't just about entertainment, it was about connecting with people and inspiring them to overcome their own challenges. Conclusion: Adam Pearce's speech on Raw was more than just a motivational moment, it was a reminder of the power of resilience, both in the ring and in life. His words resonated with fans, superstars, and anyone facing their own battles, proving that sometimes the most inspiring moments in wrestling don't involve a title belt, they involve the courage to keep going. Nick Aldis to ban 2 major WWE stars from SmackDown tonight due to massive backstage fight? Potential situation explored. Nick Aldis has been doing an incredible job of maintaining authority and decorum on SmackDown. While tonight's show will address many unanswered questions from Survivor Series, War Games, it will also set the stage for new feuds and fresh rivalries. However, the SmackDown GM could be forced to ban 2 top stars tonight in light of a potential backstage brawl. Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens have been embroiled in a heated feud on SmackDown for quite some time. The two are set to face off in a marquee match for the undisputed WWE Championship at Saturday night's main event. As a result, tensions could boil over tonight as Owens could launch a merciless attack on Rhodes in the parking lot. Both superstars could be involved in a massive brawl backstage, causing complete havoc. They might destroy each other, using weapons and equipment. As a result, Nick Aldis could intervene by bringing a horde of security personnel to stop the chaos. However, the situation might escalate further, enraging the general manager. Unable to control the mayhem, Aldis might ban both Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens from SmackDown until Saturday night's main event. While this move may frustrate both the stars, Nick Aldis may be resolute in his stance. He could issue a stern warning that if the 2 stars get physically involved again, he would be forced to cancel their highly anticipated encounter at the Uniondale event next week. This potential angle could add a new layer to the deeply personal rivalry between Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes. However, it is currently speculation and will be interesting to see whether it happens tonight. Nick Aldis to add a major stipulation to the Cody Rhodes vs. Kevin Owens match? Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes are on a collision course heading into Saturday night's main event. With their encounter just days away, they could be involved in a physical altercation tonight on SmackDown. The ensuing chaos between the 2 stars might force Nick Aldis to make some tough decisions, including adding a stipulation to their match at the impending event. Given their ongoing animosity, Aldis could reintroduce a no-holds-barred match for their contest at Saturday night's main event. The extreme stipulation would allow Owens and Rhodes to go all out without any restrictions, settling their feud once and for all. Moreover, it would justify the vicious intentions of both superstars as they look to destroy each other. Moreover, Nick Aldis adding a stipulation would elevate the grandeur of this high-profile match for the undisputed WWE Championship. The inclusion of such a stipulation would also introduce an element of unpredictability, intensifying the anticipation among the WWE Universe. Besides, if this scenario unfolds, it would mark the return of the no-holds-barred match after more than 2 years, with the last one taking place between Becky Lynch and Asuka on the July 4, 2022, episode of Raw. It was a quiet afternoon at the WWE Performance Center when the rumor mill began churning. 2 of the company's biggest stars had gotten into a heated backstage altercation. By the time the news reached WWE SmackDown General Manager Nick Aldis, the situation had spiraled so far out of control that drastic measures were necessary. As SmackDown prepared to go live, Aldis announced a shocking decision: the 2 stars involved in the altercation would be banned from the show indefinitely. But what led to this extraordinary decision, and how will it impact SmackDown's future? Let's dive into the unfolding drama. The incident. According to sources close to the situation, tensions between the 2 stars, let's call them Superstar A and Superstar B, had been brewing for weeks. Both had been jockeying for a position in SmackDown's main event scene, and their rivalry had begun spilling over from scripted promos into personal territory. The final straw came during a backstage production meeting where Superstar A accused Superstar B of politicking for a title shot they felt they deserved. Words were exchanged, voices were raised, and before anyone could step in, fists flew. Witnesses described the scene as chaotic. Several lower-card wrestlers and production staff scrambled to separate the two, but not before significant damage was done. Both superstars emerged from the scuffle with visible bruises and scratches, forcing medical personnel to get involved. Nick Aldis steps in. Nick Aldis, who had recently taken over as general manager of SmackDown, was already under pressure to assert his authority. The timing of the incident couldn't have been worse, coming just days before a major pay-per-view. With the roster divided and social media ablaze with speculation, Aldis knew he had to act decisively. At an emergency meeting with WWE officials, Aldis reportedly advocated for a strong response. "We can't allow this kind of behavior to disrupt our locker room," he was overheard saying. "Respect and professionalism are non-negotiable." Aldis then made the bold decision to ban both Superstar A and Superstar B from SmackDown until further notice. The announcement was made via WWE's official Twitter account just hours before the show was set to air, and GT, due to a backstage altercation, Nick Aldis has decided that Superstar A and Superstar B will not be appearing on #SmackDown tonight. Further updates to come. Fallout among the roster. The decision sent shockwaves through the SmackDown locker room. While some praised Aldis for taking a firm stance, others worried about the long-term implications. Superstar C, a veteran of the industry, expressed support for Aldis' decision in a backstage interview. "This is a high-stakes business, but there's no room for what happened. Nick made the right call." However, not everyone agreed. Superstar D, who has a long-standing friendship with one of the banned wrestlers, hinted that Aldis might be overstepping his bounds. "Nick's new here. Maybe he should focus on keeping things calm instead of throwing down the hammer right away." The fans were quick to speculate about the identities of the two stars involved, with names like LA Knight, Solo Sikoa, and even AJ Styles being tossed around. Hashtags like #SmackDownDrama and #AldisAuthority began trending within minutes of the announcement. On Reddit, one user wrote, "This could be a work, but if it's real, it's about time WWE cracked down on this kind of stuff." Another countered, "Nick Aldis banning people already? Power's gone to his head." The show must go on. As the SmackDown live broadcast began, Aldis opened the show with a fiery in-ring promo. Dressed in a sharp suit and exuding his trademark charisma, Aldis addressed the elephant in the room. "What happened earlier this week is unacceptable," Aldis began, his voice firm. "This isn't just about two superstars fighting. This is about the respect and integrity of our brand." He then confirmed the indefinite bans for Superstar A and Superstar B, but left the door open for their return, contingent on their willingness to reconcile and undergo mandatory conflict resolution sessions. "Let me make one thing clear," Aldis added. "This is not about favoritism. This is about setting an example. SmackDown is the house that we've built together, and I won't let anyone tear it down." Potential scenarios. The banning of two major stars opens up a myriad of possibilities for SmackDown's immediate and long-term direction. Here are some potential scenarios. 1. Aldis establishes dominance as GM. Nick Aldis has an opportunity to cement his authority by introducing new measures to maintain locker room order. This could include stricter backstage protocols or even a storyline involving Aldis assembling a disciplinary committee to enforce his rules. 2. Superstars A and B return with a vengeance. The ban could serve as a catalyst for a high-stakes feud between the two stars, culminating in a no-holds-barred match at an upcoming pay-per-view. Alternatively, they could unite against Aldis, turning their shared animosity into a common goal to challenge authority. 3. A new star rises. With two major players sidelined, the door is open for underutilized talent to step up. Could this be the moment for a rising star like Grayson Waller or Santos Escobar to seize the spotlight? 4. Locker room divide. The incident might exacerbate existing tensions within the SmackDown roster, leading to faction wars or alliances that reflect the backstage drama. The road ahead as the show progressed, Aldis' decision seemed to pay off, at least in the short term. The main event, a tag team match featuring LA Knight and Cody Rhodes against the Judgment Day, went off without a hitch, earning rave reviews from fans and critics alike. Still, the absence of two major stars was felt, and questions lingered about how long the bands would last. Would Aldis stick to his guns, or would pressure from WWE higher-ups force him to reconsider? One thing is certain, the events of this week have set the stage for one of the most unpredictable eras in SmackDown history. Whether Aldis' firm stance will lead to a more cohesive locker room or spark further chaos remains to be seen. For now, fans can only speculate and wait to see how this explosive situation unfolds. Adam Pearce shares major tease following WWE SmackDown announcement. WWE Raw General Manager Adam Pearce recently shared a social media update to tease a major roster shakeup. The 46-year-old expressed his excitement following a huge announcement on Friday Night SmackDown. On the December 6th edition of the Blue Brand, Raw superstar Chad Gable confronted Cody Rhodes and teased joining the SmackDown roster via a transfer window. After the segment, Michael Cole explained that the wrestling promotion would implement a transfer window to move wrestlers from one brand to another. The general managers of Raw, SmackDown, and NXT would work together to make the switches ahead of the Raw Netflix premiere. Adam Pearce recently took to his X, FKA Twitter, account to claim that he had been waiting for such an opportunity for several years. The Raw general manager noted he was excited to witness who joins the red brand. He further hinted at cheating fellow GMs to acquire big stars. It is official. Been wanting this for years for myriad reasons, injury replacement, roster refresh, etc. Excited to see who could potentially join the war zone on Mondays, and to see which of my GM pals I can fleece, he wrote. Adam Pearce highlights the role of a WWE general manager. Adam Pearce has been an integral part of WWE programming for several years. He has been the Raw general manager since 2023. On an earlier edition of Insight with Chris Van Vliet, the former NWA World Heavyweight Champion spoke about the role of a general manager in the wrestling promotion. Pearce pointed out that while an authority figure plays a supporting character, the in-ring performers always take center stage. This position, of a general manager, it's a supporting character on a television show that, by definition, isn't there to overshadow or step on the superstars. They are the beacons that we want the eyes focused on. But the general manager or the WWE official that I played for years before that's an informational conduit to what you just said, to make sure that everybody understands the context to what is happening with these larger-than-life characters that are on their screens every Monday and every Friday. And sometimes they're the focus of the direction of the story, and sometimes the GM is there to change the direction of the story, but the story is always about the superstar, he said. With SmackDown stars like Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns already scheduled for Raw's Netflix debut, Adam Pearce would look to get the best out of the trade window. Adam Pearce, WWE's ever-diligent authority figure, has a knack for keeping fans on their toes. On the heels of a blockbuster announcement during last Friday's SmackDown, Pearce took to social media to drop a cryptic hint that has the WWE universe buzzing with speculation. But what exactly could this tease mean, and how might it shake up the landscape of WWE's Blue Brand? Let's dive into the unfolding drama, dissect the possibilities, and explore what Adam Pearce might be cooking up. The announcement that sparked it all. This past Friday, SmackDown delivered an electrifying show, highlighted by a shocking announcement from Adam Pearce. Standing tall in the center of the ring, flanked by the WWE roster, Pearce revealed that an era-defining event would take place in 2 weeks on SmackDown. He promised the WWE Universe something they had never seen before, an announcement that would alter the DNA of the brand forever. Fans immediately took to social media to voice their theories, ranging from the introduction of new championship titles to the return of legendary superstars. Some even speculated that this could signal the beginning of an NXT invasion or a groundbreaking partnership with international wrestling promotions. But Pearce wasn't done there. Shortly after SmackDown went off the air, he posted a cryptic tweet, and GT, the wheels are in motion. Let's see who's ready to step up. Hashtag SmackDown. The tweet was accompanied by a black and white photo of a chessboard mid-game, with the queen ominously positioned to strike. Speculation runs wild. The WWE Universe thrives on intrigue, and Pearce's chessboard imagery has only added fuel to the fire. Wrestling pundits and fans alike have dissected the post, each interpreting it in their own way. 1. A major tournament. Some believe the tease indicates a high-stakes tournament to crown a new SmackDown champion. With Roman Reigns still holding the Universal Championship hostage and the Bloodline's dominance growing stale, a tournament could breathe fresh life into the brand. Imagine 8 of SmackDown's top stars, including AJ Styles, LA Knight, Sheamus, and Solo Sikoa, battling it out for a newly minted championship. The chessboard could symbolize the strategic nature of such a tournament, with every move counting toward victory. 2. The debut of a megastar. Others think Pearce's tease points to a surprise debut or return. With free agents like Mercedes Moné and rumors of CM Punk's WWE negotiations swirling, it's not far-fetched to imagine Pearce orchestrating a deal that brings a game-changing star to SmackDown. Could the queen on the chessboard represent someone like Charlotte Flair returning to claim her throne? Or perhaps a new alliance that topples the Bloodline's reign of terror? 3. A power shift in WWE management? The chessboard imagery also has some fans speculating about backstage politics spilling into on-screen storytelling. Could this be the moment Triple H's creative influence fully manifests on SmackDown? Or could we see the return of Stephanie McMahon or another major figure to challenge Adam Pearce's authority? Behind the scenes with Adam Pearce, sources close to WWE report that Pearce has been heavily involved in crafting SmackDown storylines in recent weeks. While he has traditionally played a more reactionary role on screen, Pearce has pushed to make his character more proactive, stepping into the spotlight as a true leader for the brand. In a recent interview, Pearce hinted at wanting to leave a lasting legacy in WWE. And GT, SmackDown has always been about opportunity. I want to make sure every superstar on this roster feels like they're fighting for something bigger. What we have coming up in 2 weeks is the culmination of that philosophy. The locker room reacts. The tease hasn't just energized fans, it sent shockwaves through the WWE locker room. Several superstars posted their reactions online, further hyping the mysterious announcement. LA Knight, whatever it is, I'm ready to take my rightful place at the top. Yeah. Bayley, Adam Pearce better not forget about the women's division. We've got queens too. Solo Sikoa, moves are made in silence. Let them talk. Hashtag the Bloodline. Notably, Roman Reigns has remained silent on the matter, adding to the intrigue. Theories from the wrestling world as speculation reaches a fever pitch. Wrestling insiders have chimed in with their own theories. Renowned journalist Dave Meltzer suggested that the announcement could revolve around WWE's growing relationship with international markets. And GT, WWE has been making a lot of moves overseas, particularly in Europe and Japan. Don't be surprised if this announcement involves a major global partnership or even a new international brand for SmackDown. Meanwhile, Paul Heyman, ever the opportunist, offered his own cryptic comment during a backstage interview, and GT, whatever Adam Pearce has planned, rest assured that the Bloodline will remain 3 steps ahead. Checkmate. The stage is set. As the next 2 weeks unfold, the anticipation for Adam Pearce's announcement will only grow. WWE has already teased a stacked lineup for the upcoming SmackDown, including a blockbuster tag match featuring Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn against the Usos, and a sit-down interview with Bianca Belair addressing her future. But all eyes will be on Adam Pearce when he steps into the ring once again to unveil what could be the most significant development in SmackDown's history. Will this be the moment that redefines the blue brand? Or will Pearce's bold promise fall flat under the weight of fan expectations? Adam Pearce has masterfully created an air of suspense around SmackDown's upcoming announcement. Whether it's a new championship, a major debut, or an entirely fresh direction for the brand, one thing is certain: the WWE Universe is hooked. In the world of professional wrestling, moments like these are what keep fans coming back week after week. With Pearce at the helm, SmackDown is poised for a seismic shift, one that could echo throughout WWE for years to come.